This is Dan from Dan's Urban Survival and Prepping. Let's talk about survival skills right after the intro. So I was watching a video earlier, and the person was talking about prepping channels that they did not like and why they would unsubscribe to some prepping channels. And one of them was prepping channels where the person sits at a desk and talks. He never shows you his preps, never shows you what he has, and those kind of channels make that person crazy and they don't watch them. I personally think that's a shame, not because I'm one of those preppers who sits behind a desk and talks about information but doesn't show a lot of my preps, but because there's so much information out there, so much that can be learned, that you're losing out on by ignoring some channels. For example, I can use myself. I don't show all my preps mainly because I show my face on YouTube. I'm very public about who I am, and what I have prepped I try to keep anonymous. I don't want everybody to know everything that I have put aside, all the plans that I have, but I do want to give out information that is hopefully thought-provoking and that is helpful to people. Beyond that, I don't see where it's really all that helpful for a channel to show you what they have prepped and what they have put up. What somebody else has may or may not be useful to you in your situation, in your area of the world. And number two, I believe that it helps build that feeling a lot of people who are beginning to prep have, that overwhelmed feeling. If you have 2 or 3 years of food put aside, thousands of gallons of water, if you're just beginning to be a prepper, the sight of that can make you think, I can never get there, and people give up. Now, that's their choice to give up, but I believe that if I can talk about, here's how you can do this, here's step 1, step 2, step 3, and I show them how it is possible to do it, then it's not important how much I have put aside. It's important on them taking that step and beginning, because I'd much rather see people begin to get prepared for disasters or an s.h.t.f event than to feel overwhelmed and not do anything at all. Now, one of the areas that I absolutely agree with him on is he was talking about the larger prepping and survival channels who are making a huge income from YouTube, buying extremely expensive gear, and then making videos talking about how everyone should buy this piece of equipment and that it's paramount that you save up all your money to buy this $500 knife or this $300 multi-tool. And whereas that gear may be excellent, the majority of people cannot spend that kind of money on a single prepping tool. And in my experience with myself and other preppers, we try to do things in redundancies. If we have one of something, we want to have 2 or 3 so we can put them in each of the bags or have them readily available on ourselves or in our vehicle. And I believe that also kind of hampers the new prepper, the person who's just trying to start out, because, as I said earlier, most people cannot afford to do that. My philosophy has always been, and will remain that way, if you're in a disaster situation, or God forbid an s.h.t.f. situation, and you need to cut a rope, and all you have is the $3.98 Walmart knife, and it cuts that rope, it's done the job just as well as that $500 knife. And the whole industry of this snobby knife porn and multi-tool porn and gear porn in general is nothing more than marketing. My philosophy on my channel has always been tools that get the job done. If I can buy a $20 multi-tool and it gets the job done, that's all that's required. So if you're one of those people who don't like certain channels because the person who has that channel sits behind a desk and talks about survival skills and tries to show you survival skills verbally, I think you're losing out on a lot. I think you are selling yourself short in not checking out those channels. Yes, a lot of the channels who do the gear reviews and the abuse test are a whole lot more entertaining. But when it hits the fan, those skills to use those tools properly, or the skills to mitigate the situation you're in, are going to come in a whole lot more handy than knowing what type of steel your knife is made from. So this is Dan from Dan's Urban Survival and Prepping. And until next time, guys, take care of each other.